helped me get my mind around, okay, they came to the decision that Luka isn't going to be their guy. Okay, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can understand it. They came to a decision that Anthony Davis was going to be their guy. Okay, you don't want to open up to the whole market. I think that's possibly a mistake, but that's your decision. I can kind of get it. The one thing I haven't reconciled is not getting everything from the Lakers for this player. And I understand what the Lakers are doing. The Lakers are saying, hey, listen, Luka is going to be a free agent in a year and a half. We don't get the supermax advantage. Luka was going to sign. I don't care what anybody says. Luka was going to sign that $350 million deal. That was not a stressor for the Mavericks. The stressor wasn't whether Luka would sign. The stressor was whether the Mavs wanted to pay it. The Lakers don't have that advantage. They don't get the supermax. What Luka can now sign with the Lakers is the same thing he can sign with anybody else. The Lakers now have a year and a half. They're trying to get they have to walk a little bit to get Luka a team around him that he feels good about. And there's only so much you're going to be able to sell him on selling a 4-year-old truck. You've got to worry about the provider. So I keep on with it.
Hello?
Yep. Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you.
Okay. It said bring you on campus.
Can you bring me in?
Yeah, it says bring it on campus. It said joining.
I can hear you.
Okay. 1 second. Let me cut this out. Okay. Okay. It said bring on camera. Okay. This technology. I'm trying to tell you. Okay. It said bring on camera.
Libby, what do you see?
It says you watch it. It says bring them on camera. Okay. Here we go. Let me see.
Well, as long as we can hear each other, shoot.
Yeah, right. I ain't got time before.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay, this is y'all thing.
Yeah, no. I was asking, what did you see?
Oh, okay.
Well, we good
I'm out.
now. Well, hello again, everybody. Everybody, just your imagination grew. Finally got this technology working. We won't prolong the time because we done had 9 intros.
Right.
But this space again, I named it Creative Corner, but I like what Brother Hezzy put on the flyer. Let's talk. And so this is just a way for us to interact, get to know one another, and just see how we can grow with one another and share and network and all that good stuff. So tonight we have a brother on here that I'm quite sure many of you know. Man, I met this brother. He had me on through Libby. I was on. He interviewed me on his radio show with Miss LaShondra. Was it?
Yeah.
Yep. And man, and so, but this brother has been added a lot to the game, and so I'm going to let him introduce himself. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. My name is Arthur Hezekiah Morris. I've been writing for really all my life, but really writing books and storytelling for seven years now, since 2015. Man,
Okay.
time. That's 2025 now. Wow,
Man. Yeah.
About 10 years now.
10 years in.
Wow, that's crazy.
So tell us about what you got. What are some of your titles, and then what do you have out now?
Wow. Our first book is Restoring Hezekiah, Changing the Generation. That's more like my autobiography. Some of the stuff I went through in life, some of the trials and tribulations, and how I became a writer.
Yeah.
The second one is Restoring Hezekiah, Me and Only Me. And that basically talks about relationships and how men view relationships. Instead of from a woman's point of view, I'm bringing it from a man's point of view. And it's more about real life relationships that I've been through. And then my third book is Remember Them Days When We Was Young. I was missing my hometown, so I started writing about all the things that we did back then when we was young and how the good times we had. And it's something to let the youth know about, how we as young adults and how when you get older, how you change your life around and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I think about after this book, I was I was done introducing myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, let me get into something a little more, suitable, but still touch bases with helping others. And I wrote my fourth book was The Player in Me, and we went on to do a movie to The Player in Me. That was my first erotica romance book.
Okay.
And then after that, I did The Player in Me too. I came with that book. That was the second part of that. Then I wrote The Invisible Woman. I came with that one, The Invisible Woman. That was my first paranormal romance. And then the last one I just wrote was The Pastor's Son. That took off. And I think this year I'm gonna have 2 or 3 coming out. It depends on, it's sometimes I get in the mood like, all right, I'm gonna drop 2 this year, or I'm gonna drop 1. It depends on how, you get to support and how the fans take when you let out one book, how they take it. And it's all about timing. Now that you're an author and you write now, it's all about timing.
Okay.
Almost like in the music business. You know what I mean? When you're hot, you're hot. When you when you're not, you're not. So you gotta pick and choose when you really want to drop something. And like for me, I just have a passion of writing. I just love writing. I just love, putting my feelings on the paper. And when I get into that mood of put my feelings on the paper and start writing, and I got that title in my mind, I'm just going to write it. It doesn't. For me, it's not about the money or nothing like that. I just love to write.
Yeah.
And with that being said, my passion has took me to all over the East Coast to different colleges, and I've been to Georgetown, I've been to Howard, I've been to UNC, I've been to Georgia Tech, I've been to Columbia University. I got invited to Harvard. I got invited to do Penn State graduation, actually speak at the graduation. I'm doing Grambling State in 2 weeks. I'm gonna be on live television on cable TV this Saturday, talking about books. So
Okay.
it actually opened the door for me, from the background that I come from, and gave me another outlet, to share my pain and share my story, but also to change my life around as well, and to be a role model, and to,
Yes.
to do the right things instead of always doing the wrong. And, I did that. When we young, we trying to figure out who we're gonna be and what we're gonna be. And for us men, it takes us longer than the
Right.
women. The women, by the time they 30, they ready to get married, settle down, do all that.
Right.
We still trying to find ourselves going through our 20s and 30s.
Man, it's like we go through these cycles, man. It's like, man, we always like metamorphosing or something, man.
Yeah.
Like a Power Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
But,
And they
go ahead.
but and it's like they set, but we like, man, all right, what we gonna do with our life? And then by the time we get into our 40s and 30s, we like, all right.
Yeah, some guy
we ain't moving fast like we used to. I can't jump up, and then we start slowly but surely. We start coming around as men, and that's when I was like, I'm gonna start paying a little more attention to this craft and do the design. So I started studying all the authors. I started studying how to do my own. But I do my own book trailers now. I do my own flyers now. I do my own artwork now. I do my own promotions now.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I love it because people always come in my inbox like, well, I'm gonna charge you $70 to do this, put on this platform. But I'm like, why am I gonna pay you $70 when I can do the same thing you do?
Right.
You know what I mean? I might not do it as better than you, but I'm keep learning from you. I'm gonna learn how to do it.
You're gonna learn how to do it. Trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
Trial and error.
And that's one thing that I learned. Like, these people make more than the actual authors do.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Now,
You know?
yeah. And I had my first time trying to, publish a book. It was through this company called Publish America, the big company that do everything, but they do it so cheap. They're cheap
Mhm.
looking, but they getting all your back end. You ain't seeing nothing.
Yes, right.
So yeah. But you mentioned your upbringing, man. And you mentioned this latest work, The Pastor's Son.
Yeah.
Does that have a correlation? That's
Eh,
your background? Are you
yeah,
a
yeah.
pastor's son, or how did that come
Well,
about?
at the time, growing up, my father wasn't a pastor.
Mhm.
But later in life he became a pastor. But like all my granddads, my uncles, and everybody, they were pastors and bishops, and so I was learning the right things. I always at church every day. And growing up, you stayed in church. Like soon as you come out your mama's belly, you going to church. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That was the main thing on Sunday. And by the time I got to about teenage year, I was like, you know what? I'm about tired of church. And
I feel you.
it's like you have to find your own self spiritually, but you never leave God. But it's also it's a it's a growing mechanism too, where you got to learn how to be a man.
Yeah,
You got to learn how to feel, see, and hear God for yourself. Because can't everybody can tell you about it, but if you don't believe it, you haven't been through anything for someone to tell you something, or you haven't went through no trials. How can you be a testimony to somebody? You know what I
true.
mean?
Right.
And so on my path, it won't know, man, it wasn't good, but at the same time, I had God right beside me, and I knew who He was.
Yeah,
Because He got me out of a lot of mess. You know what I mean? Some mess where you could have been gone for life and stuff like that, but He was right there beside me to pull me out of it. Like, look, that ain't what I want for you.
yeah,
Like that is not your destiny. I didn't make you this smart to do that.
yeah,
And so believing in God and His spirit and stuff. And I had my uncle, he was a bishop. Every morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, we sitting on the porch drinking a cup of coffee, talking about life and how to be
yeah,
a man. Just going through different phases of life. And he never pressured me to go to church. But it was always that word that he was teaching me. He was molding me into being a man.
right.
And just life lessons and learning and like, you know what? Yeah, I can do this. And just being strong, us being this sometimes it's harder for us to get it
Yeah,
and for it to really click. And for me seeing like, I look back home and it's like, man, I like to go home, but I am at home now because I got a lot of friends that died and moving on. I'm like, man, am I getting older? Is that what it is? But life is catching up to
yeah.
us, and we
And
don't
where you
take care
from?
of it. I'm from Virginia, actually.
Huh?
I'm from Virginia, actually.
Virginia?
Yeah.
Okay.
And and it's like, okay, I'm grown now. Like, I ain't gotta go home all the time. They come visit me now. You know what I
You're
mean?
right, right, right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm in Atlanta now. Like, okay, I done lived at home all my life. I wanted something different. So this is my home now. This is where I'm relaxing and I'm okay with. And it's just part of growing up, part of changing, part of you always want to be an inspiration to others, but sometimes you try to find others to inspire you as well.
Yeah. And that's what
So
you're right. And that's what I find, like you are an inspiration to me, because I'm new into, I'm like compared to you, I've been writing, but far as having worked out, I'm new at I'm new at this. I got a book that I'm coming out with, my first novel, but seeing your progression, your grind, I'm learning from. Now to
Mhm.
hear, why you do what you do, that's I can relate to that. So I can say, hey, I'm not the only one. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And just like you were just talking about your uncle, how he sat you on the porch, he didn't drill you, he didn't beat you over the head with the Bible.
Mhm.
He
Nope.
just walked to you, told you about life, to help you, give you a direction for you to follow so you can grow yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I think is missing. And I might get off, we might go to a sidebar, but that's
Yeah.
what's happening now with our men now. Because,
Mhm.
man, men are not men now.
Oh no, no, far
Real
from. Oh,
men are rare species, are endangered
mhm.
species, man, because we got you got the ones that want to be the super gangsters. We got the
Yeah.
ones that want to be super high. We
Mm-hmm.
got the ones that don't know if they want to be man or
Right.
female. We got so much fighting against us, man, that those that think like us, man, and so it's imperative that we share our stories.
Yes.
It's imperative that we share our stories, and that's one thing I'm big on. I
And
say,
you know what's funny to me? It's like,
yeah,
us as men, and I write all these women books and erotic romance. And like people always judge that book by that cover. And I
yeah,
think it's funny
yeah.
because they're like, oh man, you just that's this one, this one, this one. I'm at home right now by myself.
They make you a player.
You- and I love it because it's like, well, okay, if that's gonna sell books, y'all can think what you want. But it's like I'm literally by myself all the time. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And it's funny because it's like I have to work on me. And if I want a God to bring me a wife, I still have to work on me.
man.
It's not to be
Come on,
out
man.
there doing that and doing this. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's hard when you're using your talent and you invested in yourself. You really don't have time for that relationship or that woman. You got to find the one that wants to balance with you with that talent and that product that you are putting out because most women, well, that's all you talk about. That's all you want to do. You don't have time for me. And I have to think, I have to be like, you know what? I don't.
Yeah,
Because this is my gift. This is what God gave me to work with. If you really want to be my woman, you'll be right there with me. Like, how can we help to do this? What can we do? And it's like you said, like it's no real men or women in this world today. And when we talk about this, I'm at work and I see it because I'm working with youngsters now. I'm like, man, I hope I wasn't like that when I was that
yeah.
age. It's
I work with high school kids too.
and it's no way I was like that when I was that age.
Hey, so we think, but no, they know the truth today. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And and it's so funny because it's like, man, when can I bring these old days back? You know what I mean?
yeah,
But we'll never get it back. So and I understand how our parents used to be like. But that's what we work for in my generation. So the kids these days won't have to work as
yeah,
hard as we had to, or as our parents worked to. And that's
yeah.
what we're trying to get out. Like, don't everybody gotta be a rapper. You can sit at home, you can be on social media, you can be on TikTok and make your money, but do it the right way. Do it with some talent. Learn some trades.
Yeah.
Learn a little bit of the stuff that you're gonna need. Because technology is not gonna always be here for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because at any time it can cut off, then we're going back to the Stone Age.
But But the main thing we got to tell the teacher, and that's helping them know how to think
Yeah,
and not let
yeah.
other people or other outside entities think for them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
That's
It's
it.
molding. We have to help mold their minds because now people's minds is gone.
Yeah. Oh,
Especially our youth, man. They feel so entitled. They feel so like whatever they think they should be able to do with
oh yeah.
no
Mm-hmm.
consequence. No, we can't do that, man.
Not at
But
all.
going back to going back to what you was talking about of the relationship aspect, like
Mm-hmm.
you said, because I was going to ask you, you
Yeah.
wrote a lot about romance, and I was going to ask, okay, um, and then you shared about the ladies think that you because of that, like, but
Mhm.
you at the
It's,
crib, so
yeah,
it was there. Um, and there's always a little truth. They say there's always a little truth to
mhm.
to your fiction. Um, were there some situations that why you wrote these? You wrote paranormal.
Hey, all
paranormal.
of it. Hey,
Oh
all the
man, then you
situations
wrote
real
about
now.
the
I ain't gonna
erotic.
lie to
So
y'all. Hey,
did you
I
have
ain't
some
gonna lie to
space?
y'all.
Hey, did you
All
feel
the
like
situations real
I
now.
no,
I'm gonna tell you now. All the situations real now.
no, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking if you want to touch on that spacey
Oh,
love that you was having back there.
oh man. Hey now, I ain't gonna say it ain't going on now, but not at all. No, but
But I'm saying
you know,
to feel some, I
um,
mean to
yeah,
fuel those books.
I know the player one. Everybody was like, oh man, we done read your books. You done wrote the autobiography. But we want to hear about your player side. All my hometown people. So I was
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and write these books for y'all. So that was my first erotica romance, and that's the one
Okay.
we did the movie on.
Yeah.
And man, that one blew up. But the situations and the episodes, it's like they spot on. They like, okay, this we're gonna keep it running because it's my imagination. It's in my head on how I want to write it. And you know, as a writer, you have to expand. You know, you have to let your fans see what you imagining. What are you thinking? What would you do in this
Right.
situation? So I'm bringing you these real life situations. Like, man, I know I got caught up that way. I got caught up that way. So
Right.
I wrote the Plan Me and the Plan Me too. So I decided to write The Invisible Woman. I was dating this female nobody knew about. So she was the Invisible Woman. But when I wrote the book, I decided to make her a ghost.
Wow.
She's real to me, but she's a ghost to everybody else.
Oh man. Okay. Whoa. Wee.
So throughout this book, we having a whole relationship. I'm the only one that can see her.
Okay.
And my friends are like, "Oh, you going crazy? You must be out your mind. Why are you talking to somebody you can't see?" You know what I mean? And it used to be funny because while we was dating, nobody ever saw it. You know
Wow.
what I mean? I
So
never took her
you
around.
made it, you brought it from the page to real life, or you put real life on the page.
Yeah, put the real life on the page.
Okay.
And and this is the funny part. Most of the whole book is based on our text messages.
Wow. Okay.
Our conversations in the book. See, that's how you use your. See,
See,
that's the funny thing that.
that's that just our imagination, just our imagination group. He's showing you how to use your imagination.
It was so funny because I let her read it and she was like, "Oh my goodness, you took our whole text messages and just put it in our conversation."
Yeah.
I like, yeah, that's dope,
Yeah.
baby. It was so amazing when the book dropped because everybody was like, "Wow, that's different. I like it. I like it." And it was so funny. I just died laughing. I think I got nominated for an award for that book too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I actually did a Black Authors Award Association. Got nomination for that.
Yeah.
Um, and then the pastor's son, man, that was so funny how I ended up writing that. I was thinking one day, like, what if my dad got sick and he didn't want my brother to run the church? He wanted me to come home and run the church, the prodigal son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I decided to put myself in that position, and I go home. I moved back home. I decided to take over the church. And then taking over this church, oh man, he got to leave his old life behind, but he got this old girlfriend that we're gonna hang on to. Then
Mhm.
he got the new one he want to be with. She's the church girl, and he's
Yeah.
trying to decide on how to run the church. And there's all kind of chaos going on with the church members
Yeah.
and how they're going to receive him. And oh man, but one thing this book is really good because it really focuses on today's church and how it is and how we're trying to the younger guard are like trying to change the church a little bit, but the older guard is like resistant on
Man,
change.
yeah. They set stone.
But I think change is sometimes good.
Yeah.
It's not good for we don't like it, but it's good. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And God's word always carries through the generations. It's always unchanging, but it's always there. So I always have to accept change. I don't like it, but you have to accept change. And when he comes into this church, he wants to change, but the church doesn't want to change. They say, "How are you going to tell me you a womanizer? a drug addict, an alcoholic. How you gonna tell us how to run something? And then he's like, okay, I can't tell you how to run your church, but I know your church isn't making no money. I know your church ain't got no members. I know y'all ain't helping nobody.
Right. Right.
So I mean, why not change?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Some got the change.
And then in this book, he's like, how could you judge me when y'all went through the same thing? You know, and it's all about growth, and it's about change, and it's about helping others, and how I use my creative skills to actually, like most of these members in this church are real members,
Yeah. Wow.
and how I bring our characters to life and put it on paper.
That's
And
it.
I didn't down them. I actually brought, as I'm coming up, they're coming up with me through this book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's so funny. You'll laugh because, you know, we got one person to how he talks in church, and I bring him to life in this book, and you'll die laughing because if you ever meet him, you're like, so that's the guy you're talking about. You know,
Here he
so
is.
it's just, yeah, so it's just using your imagination sometimes and your creative writing, and how, like, it's always I always want to put God in a message in my books, regardless if it's erotica,
Right.
romance, whatever, because he gave me the talent to write. I wouldn't be writing if it wasn't him.
Yeah.
But it's using your creativity.
Yes.
Everybody has it, but it's how you want to do it. You know how people every day ask me, well, I want to write a book, I want to do this, and I can't tell them nothing. I can't tell them, okay. All I can tell them is you got to write it.
Yeah.
That's it. It doesn't matter if you write it backwards. That's right.
That's right.
And I'll be like, that's what you got an editor for, to fix all that.
Right.
You know, and it's just either you want to do it or you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
It's just putting
And you don't
one
want
foot
to, some people
before
don't
the
want
other.
to do it because they're scared. But I'm like, once you get past that scared part, it's easy because, like, growing up with me, it wasn't a lot of black authors as it is right now. Wasn't a novel. I ain't never seen this many authors in my life
Yeah.
as we got them right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's great. That's because that's maybe saying that more people are reading now.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't necessarily read new books. I go back and read old books. Like, man, I didn't see this old book. Somebody wrote this crazy book. Let me read this book right here.
Yeah.
You know, or I just pick up one just by walking. I see somebody lay down a book, and I see it. Oh, they must say want to read it. I pick it up, and I just start reading it. You know,
So
and
what's some of the authors that were some of your inspirations
oh
growing
man,
up?
Richard Wright,
Yes.
Alex Haley,
Okay.
what's that? Day Late and a Dollar Short. Eric Jerome Dickey.
Eric Jerome Dickey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whoever wrote, I forgot who wrote that book. True to the Game. I'm trying to
True
think
to
of
the
her name.
Game. That was a
That-
female.
Yeah. That got me
Her
into
name.
reading
Yeah.
urban books. Now, when they made that movie, I was so mad because the movie was not like the book. The book is
It
off
was.
point. And I
It was
read
not.
3 hours. You know, when you read a good book, I actually got my daughter's mother's sisters to start reading them books after I read True to the Game, and I kept coming home telling her, like, girl, you need to read this book. You need to read this book. You need to read this book. So she started reading. So you know, once you read a good one, you're like, man. So them books really got me going. Then I got into some David Baldacci. James Patterson was pretty good. See, what people don't know, James Patterson, all the books, he didn't author all them books. He got co-authors, but long as his name on there,
Yeah.
he gets
It's gonna sell.
paid.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of. I like Zane. Zane is okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the authors I like. I don't really do a lot of autobiographies like I used to. When I was growing up, I used to read. That's all we had though was
I'm gonna tell you
autobiography.
one. If you haven't read it, you need to
Mhm.
read. It's
Uh-huh.
Richard Pryor's. It's called
Ooh.
Prior Convictions and
Yeah.
Other Life Sentences. Prior
Okay.
Convictions and Other Life Sentences. You got to read that one. Rich
I might
gave
take
it
that out.
away, man. You gonna laugh, but you gonna cry at the same time because he's giving the real.
Yeah.
But Rich being Rich, but man, he gives the man. You're gonna be surprised some of the stuff that he talk about. Like
Mm.
man, like that movie. Okay, JoJo Dancer, the movie
Yeah.
that was supposed to be about his life, but it was
Wow.
a little bit. But why he
Mhm.
wrote that, he said. I mean, why he made that movie was like Jim Brown, the football player, kind of like bullied him because Rich said he was kind of scared of Jim Brown.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said so. He didn't want to make Jim Brown mad, so he just went on and made the movie because it was Jim Brown's company. But
Yeah.
he tell the real about his life. That's one you got to read, bro.
Okay. Okay.
Read
Like,
that.
man. Yeah. Yeah. Because, you know, back then, that's all we had to read was autobiographies, really.
Or when I was coming up, going through the system, you know who they had up in there? Donald Goins
Donald
and
Goins, yeah.
Iceberg Slim.
Yeah. Yeah.
I done
Yeah.
read all of them.
All of them, yeah. I'm going to tell you, man, another good one. Man. The Family Business, all them books good.
I didn't
Oh,
know they had. I didn't know they were books.
oh man. It
I
was
thought that
back
was just a
about that.
series.
No, it's a book. It's a
Oh,
book.
okay.
I got locked up. That's how I know.
Yeah.
I read all of them. It's like nine books.
I'm trying to find them because I like
Hey,
reading the book.
hey man, that TV show ain't got nothing on the book.
Right.
Nothing,
They never do.
nothing on the book. I read them books, and when I watched the TV show, I was mad. I said, "Oh, this ain't right. This ain't right." And it's like, oh
Say, I
man,
need
there's
to be the
another.
producer.
Yeah, right. And it was another one I read, man. I forgot his name. Is it Quan or Jay Quan? Man, it's something, man. It was about this guy. He came from LA. He was a Crip, but he moved to New York and he set up shop there. Oh man, that one was real good too.
Yeah.
I forgot it. I think it was Quan, but yeah. I picked some good books over here and there and I check them out.
Okay. All right. But but the pastor son, you made that a movie too, right?
We're working on that one. Yep. We're
Y'all
gonna
working
start
on a
working on
movie
that.
for that.
Yeah, we're gonna start working on that this summer.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
man.
And
So,
then I got I'm trying to get the Louisiana Purchase out by Valentine's. I'm trying. I just need to put it. It's done. The book is completed. I just need to put it together. I just ain't had time to put it together, so I don't want it to be no last minute thing. It might be a couple of days after Valentine's, but that one's really good. The Louisiana Purchase. It's about this guy. He falls. The girl always fall in love with the plug, but he falls in love with the plug.
oh,
And
okay.
she's a female.
Yeah.
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 Oh man, this is good. This all kind of man. I think that one's really good. I think this is gonna be more than like this is gonna be about 300-400 pages. This one. Yeah.
Oh wow. You put it
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
You gonna
And
make
then
it a
I got
series?
one. I got one called the 608 Boys. That's about my homeboys from back home. About when I was growing up in my teenage years
Yeah.
and all of the crazy stuff we did. Oh, and then I got another one. Hopefully, I might wait till next year to drop that one. That was the call line.
Yeah.
That's gonna be good. You're gonna have different. You can sit at home. You use your imagination. You're gonna have different women calling into the call line. They at home. They bored. They want to talk to the
Right.
guy who's on the other end of the phone, and he just satisfied. Man, that one's gonna be dope too.
Okay.
Then you're
All
gonna
right. So
have one, on the call line. She's gonna take it further than what it's supposed to be. It's gonna
yeah.
have be some crazy mess.
So
One
where
of
are
the
those
things that I wanted to
and
do though.
where those at in
Oh,
production?
oh man, I'm done basically with all of them. I just need to go ahead, sit
Just
and
bump
get
them
it.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But
All right.
but then you don't like some people say, oh, write as much as you can. You want to, but you don't want to just throw them all out there. You want to give them time to market and
Yeah.
make a little money because you keep throwing them out there. They're gonna expect you to keep throwing them out there.
Right.
And
They want you to be
if you're
like
not
no
making no
limit.
money off them, don't keep throwing them out there. You know what I mean? At least because for me, I put one out. Every time I put one out, the one before that catch traction.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, okay, let's be patient.
Yeah.
But if I'm really feel good about a book that I'm feeling passionate about it, oh man, they're gonna love it. I'm gonna put it out regardless if it's gonna get in the way of anything or not. That's something that I feel that, yeah, they should read this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all about how you want to work because you're your own boss doing basic with your books. You're using your own creative sources. So it's fun doing all that. And then, you know, I write for different magazines and stuff now. So having time to do that, you get that memo in, oh, your article due. I'm like, man, I gotta come
Yeah.
up with an article. You know, but it's all fun and games. You know, it's doing something positive. And then, you know, with the articles, you ain't gotta be all bookish. You just write about your passion, like what's going on in the world. I heard Libby talk about politics and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I wrote, I think my last article was Unmasking Battle, Motivation Magazine. I asked, how are we using Dr. King? It was Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday we were celebrating. So my magazine article was, how is Dr. King's message standing in today's world? How
Yeah.
is that continuing on? And
Yeah.
that's what I wrote about.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that one was good. And, you know, we talked
Which
about everything
magazine
that
is
he
that?
talked about in his speech. So yeah.
How many magazines you write for?
Two.
Just freelancing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you write for two?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what's
I
up.
just do
You got a
it
lot
to give
going
me
on.
something to do to help them out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to do now. That's one thing I like to do too. I like to get into that
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
article writing. I just, you
Mm-hmm.
know, 'cause,
And,
I
and,
won't.
and, and you know, it's different because you get to talk about different things
Yeah.
and what you know
Put
what
your
you're
perspective
passionate
on
about.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm trying to get Libby to kick off her red sauce letters again. Since
Yeah.
she has like a,
And you know, it's really not hard to make your own magazine.
yeah.
Yeah.
I might need
You,
to make one.
I mean, it's so easy. Like, man, I got different kind of programs that I use. And I'm like I do. Like sometimes you see somebody's magazine, you wouldn't believe, but I made the cover.
Yeah.
I'd be like, look, I don't like that. They're like with some of my friends, they do something. They were like, I'm coming out with this magazine. And I look at it and I'll be like, I don't like it. I go and make the cover for them and get it here. Use this.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Or
you
I
do a lot
do.
of stuff behind the
Yeah.
scenes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm
Video,
saying,
like
man.
somebody
You
video, and they be like, "Can you do something with it?" I was like, "Give me this video," and I go and I switch it all up, add something to it, fix it up. Yeah.
so you one-stop shop and mini conglomerate, huh? That's all right,
like
man.
when
We
me and
need
you,
you, man.
like when me and you was talking, you was like, "Okay, we're gonna do this show. Can you come Monday?" I was like, "All right, I'm gonna make the flyer. I got it."
Man, and I like what you did. So I want to know. I wanted to say, hey, whenever I get another member want to come on, I want you to use that as a template, man.
Yep,
If
I
you,
did that flyer like 5 minutes. I was at work. I said, "Man, I'll
I
make this
know I see
flyer."
because I had just asked you. Next thing you know, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
You know, that was a
tell people,
passion of mine because when I first started writing books and I wanted a flyer or I wanted a book trailer, they used to charge me $25, $50. And I said, man, and it don't even look good. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So I figured it out on my own. I started working around with it, tweeting with it. It took me about a year or two to really get good.
yeah,
Now it's like it's nothing now, you know.
yeah. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm working on a YouTube, like a web series. I just
Mhm.
started shooting with a couple people, and but I'm doing it. I'm working it myself. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Trying to put it
yeah.
together myself. Yeah,
And I've learned too. I want to sometimes, you know, like everybody, we want to do movies. Like we can go to some of these colleges, man, get some of these film students
see,
that's
that's
up in there.
what I was telling
And
people.
man, we shoot the film for free, man. You
Yeah,
know, they want to get themselves out
they
there,
want to
and
get
then
they
they
want to
could do
get
that
that.
internship. That's that internship right there.
That's it.
You know?
People that man use them, for videos and stuff. They gonna get graded. They want to do it because they
Yeah,
trying to get that experience.
that's right.
Yeah. So let everybody know where people can get your books and anything that you
Um,
put out, bro.
you can get my books on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. Author Hezekiah Moore. So just type in Hezekiah Moore's books. You can watch the movie The Player. That's on YouTube. The Player by Andre Harris. That's on YouTube. I'm Arthur Hezzy on Instagram. I'm Has Moore 8522 on TikTok. And I'm Hezekiah Morris on Facebook. On Twitter, I'm Morris_Hezekiah. Oh yeah, I like TikTok too. That's blowing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I got like 5,000 followers so far.
Yeah.
Now. So I'm digital creator on there. So I'm starting to pick up steam now and trying to monetize all of these social platforms. But every time you try to monetize, they switch the game up on you.
They switch on you.
Yes. So it's like, you know what? I don't even really deal with it like that. Okay, now you're using somebody's song. You can't make money off. We're gonna send this over there to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like it's hard with social media unless you get on it.
Yeah.
But you know, man, it's something I enjoy.
Yeah.
The perks
Man. And
and ends that I'm figuring out and how to do it. And you know, just having fun with it.
yeah. Well, thank you for being the first guest up on here, man. But you definitely not. This ain't gonna be the last time. So, what about the radio show? You still doing that?
I'm gonna start that up about another week or two. I took a break from that because working, and then you got to get the gas. You got to do that, and you got to know, like for a whole year, we was on straight, like
Yeah.
So we actually got nominated for best radio internet show of the year.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to take a break because you got to get the gas, then you got to do this, and you know, it's a lot go into a radio show. People don't really like this interview tonight, like
Yeah.
the technical part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you got to get the gas. Then you got to make. And I used to do everything, like get the gas, make the flyers, do this, make sure they're gonna be comfortable, and I also try to make them talk to them at least before the show, so
Yeah.
we have a good. Okay, this is what she like, and you know, after a while, you're like, all right, I need to take a little break.
Yeah. Okay.
So when it do come back out, I'm gonna know how to monitorize it and do all kinds of different things because I did that for Office because all these other shows are charging 50, 75. I'm not paying 170. I ain't sold one book. So why am I pay you $100 for you to interview me?
Right.
And then when I leave the show, I still ain't sold no book.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
that was my thing. That was my thing of giving back to Office. But I'm starting up because that was my passion too. And I finally got my little co-host and get everybody on the same page, man. And we're gonna see where it go from there.
Okay, bro, man. But just let us know, man. But
Yes, sir.
again, man, I thank you for sharing your journey, for sharing your knowledge, your experience, and you dropped some serious nuggets on here tonight, man. So I appreciate
That's
you,
what it's all
bro.
about.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So until
All
next
right, have a
time,
good night.
you too. See y'all later. Just the imagination